Well, another year of drama on YouTube. One of the most petty things that I like keeping up with. Hello everyone, Ren here, or Alias, and this is all of the drama that happened in 2024. The first drama of the year is Logan Paul paying crypto suit back. Now, this has been paying this, big grain of sand and paying with a grain of sand. He didn't pay all of the money that was lost. He paid a portion of the money that was lost back to the victims. He paid what he allegedly owed to the victims. I don't want to get sued like CoffeeZilla. The second drama of the year was early on. A lot of YouTubers started retiring, like Tom Scott. But the biggest one, in my opinion, was MatPat. Personally, because I watched him since I was a kid all the way to he retired. Happy retirement, I guess. The third drama of the year was the Burbalese, the animated rap battles guy, spending 20k, if I remember correctly, on an animation of him being seduced by Charlie from Hasbin Hotel, which Pyrocynical gets clowned on all the time for commissioning fat fairy art, but this man got clowned on a lot more for this, which fair enough. Okay, it was pretty good. The song was pretty fire though. Then another drama is Destiny of not the game, the streamer. He divorced his wife because his wife left him for a small Swedish man, if I recall correctly. The next drama is Papa Meat editor quit her job and then slandered Papa Meat, but then she deleted the video and left social media. That was like a minor drama. Unlike the next drama, which wasn't just, shits and giggles, it was Mama Max mishandling the cases that he has been dealt with. It all started with his God cult, Garter Descendants cult, that he blamed YouTube for basically silencing his video when in reality, he changed the name of his channel to this so people didn't realize it was him, and his videos are really cryptic, really like editing heavy, and people dug out stuff about him and realized like he doesn't really do much for these cases. He just presents them and then he goes on with his life. Doesn't really do much. Now, the next drama I have listed is Chugga Conroy, but I'm not gonna go in depth with it because I personally haven't kept up with it, and I don't feel like I have the appropriate information for that case. The next drama, though, I do. It's Vosh Horse. I just have it listed as Vosh Horse, and it's when he accidentally showed his folder full of lolly, can I even use that word? Adult content and horse adult content with humans. And he then made a stream where he said he wishes he was a horse. The next drama isn't as funny. It's Tuma dying, and there were some allegations that came up that it became really messy, so I won't talk about him. Because, again, I am not too well informed about him. The next drama is Hassan Piker saying that a 9 to 5 is harder than streaming, which, of course, everybody get clowned on. But the bigger drama of this was Ludwig made fun of Hassan for saying that, and then Hassan got butthurt, and Ludwig deleted his video and used the excuse of, the sponsor I had, the video wasn't doing really well for the sponsor I had, which everybody caught on and, didn't let Ludwig get away with it. Next up is MatPat actually retiring. He made his whole ass video with Scott Cawthon at the end, opening the door so they can discuss FNAF and counting toes till the end of time. Next up is the George Not Found allegations. George got accused by a streamer named Katie Bugs about sexual misconduct, but then it turned out that it wasn't really full on assault. It was more of in a miscommunication, I would say. So Katie got ran off the internet because people realized that her accusations didn't really hold weight, and George Not Found came back like normally. Then the next drama is JoJo Siwa becoming a bad girl, quote unquote, with her song Karma, which is kind of funny. Next up is Watcher subscription service. So Watcher is BuzzFeed's Unsolved, but their own channel. And they came up with a subscription service to defeat the need for ads on YouTube. Basically a Patreon service. And people clown on them because first they realized that it was like the same amount as a Netflix subscription, which wasn't really good. Also, if you were subscribed to the Patreon for an equal amount of money, you didn't get it, which is pretty bad. And finally, they got criticized that they don't really need a massive production team for the videos they make. Like, I saw a video by Jimmy Robbins where, for a video that was like 3 dudes drinking on a camera for like entertainment, they had like 10 people behind the scenes, and proving that they were just a very bloated company. But now they lowered the price. They gave the patrons, the free code for their service, and they seem to be doing okay now. Next up is the Escape from Tarkov drama. There was a new DLC that basically screwed over old DLC owners. Like, it was an expensive DLC that added content to the game, which would be fine if they didn't promise that the owners of this other DLC would give them all the access to the game, all the access to all future DLCs. And they really tried to sneak it away by saying, oh, this isn't more content, this is another game mode. They try to get like that lawyer talk in there to get away with it. Next up, FaZe Clan rebuilt themselves and they fired a lot of their talent. Next up is Helldivers 2 got review bombed on Steam for linking your PSN account with your Steam account when you didn't have to do that right off the bat. And, PC players really hated that. Which, fair enough. I have a PlayStation 2, so to me it was like, no problem doing it. But I can see how that can annoy people. Like, when I got X-Defiant, I was super annoyed that I had to install it through Ubisoft instead of buying it on Steam. It was a free game. They didn't even get any money from it. Next up, Lex Updog. The drama from last year. I even have her face in the thumbnail. Responded to all the super mega threats, and it was basically like a nothing burger. She just responded. I guess that's why I have it there. Next up is Keffals versus Mudahar. The online content creator Keffals got a hit piece done to her by Mudahar, and not a malicious hit piece. It was like very well researched, very thought out actual criticism of her. And she didn't have any other way to defend herself other than to say that the thumbnail was transphobic to use because it depicted her ugly. Which, of course, her fans said, oh yeah, that is transphobic. Maybe we shouldn't watch the valid criticisms inside the video and stop at the thumbnail. But now Mudahar is doing okay, relatively. There's a whole Noxtaku drama as of the recording of this video, but he's doing fine. Like, this was nothing. Next up is Wendigoon versus Embrace of Shadow. Mr. Goon himself got a hit piece done by him by this guy called Embrace of Shadows, and unlike Mudahar, this was an actual hit piece. No backing, no nothing. It was just a video done because Embrace of Shadows didn't like Wendigoon, or was jealous of Wendigoon, envious of his success, if you will. For some reason, this guy had an axe to grind against Wendigoon. And since then, Wendigoon's doing fine. Of course, everybody sided with him because it was a nothing hit piece. It was just calling him bad for like weird reasons, animation channels made a video coming back where it was another nothing burger. Nothing happens on YouTube. That's why I keep up with it. Next up is Frogan versus Ludwig. Basically, the number one Gesan van Frogan, the 2-time winner of the Rising Star Award, got into a fight with Ludwig for donation shaming. And she doubled down until she apologized, and now they're relatively fine. Next up is I'm Alex being abusive towards his girlfriend. So, I'm Alex is a commentary YouTuber that does your basic drama stuff, what you see on Tom Dark or Sensitive Society. And he would call out people, and he did mess up someone's career in the past, but that's a drama of another year. You can look up this Lasso situation. You can look up Tom Dark's Lasso videos to get a better grasp on it. But basically, he did a hit piece on a guy. He had he had enemies. Then it turned out that he was very abusive towards his girlfriend, and the whole internet turned on him, basically. And this situation was so massive that the Baited podcast, a podcast hosted by Keem Clown and Tommy, one of the bigger drama podcasts, came back just to shit talk him, which is a big deal because these 3 guys aren't really amicable with each other. Next up is I wrote Dr. Disrespect at a minor. Basically, it came out that Dr. Disrespect got axed off Twitch because of how he interacted with a certain fan who we don't know the age, but Doc knows the age and he could release it. But he but it is very tiptoey to know the age. He says that the person he was messaging was legally of the age of consent, which could mean that this person was 18 or that they were 16. We don't know. We just know that he messaged someone who was probably not 18, and that's what got him fired. Allegedly, I think. It went to court. They solved it on court. I don't know if that's it. I think the only thing that's alleged is that they're underage, because we legit don't know. Next up is Manish Show Copyright. Basically, there's this YouTuber that does comedy skit videos. Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea, personally. But he's pretty harmless until he started copyright striking people. Then he responded, and he said, hey, I was, on a trip, and I left my YouTube channel to this manager that for some reason started copyright striking people. And he said that he fired him, but he's not going to run away from responsibility. He hired this guy. It was his face. It's his name and his face on the channel. He takes full responsibility. He released all the copyright strikes. And he said that if you want to criticize him, if you don't like him after this for being an idiot and not vetting a manager, that's totally fine. But that he basically did probably the best YouTuber apology of this year. Because he took responsibility, he admitted he fucked up, no doubling down. He said, I was stupid, I didn't vet this person, I'm sorry. Next up is Boogie2988 Crypto. Basically, he shilled a crypto coin to pay for some money, to pay for some medical bills. He even used his girlfriend's body to up it, which kind of gross a bit. But basically, he scammed his fans for money. That's all you gotta know. Which, personally, if you're buying a crypto coin from a YouTuber on this year, come on, bro. You gotta learn. Next up is the Sketch League. Sketch is a Madden streamer. He even announced the draft for the worst football team in the NFL, the Houston Texans. The lesser Texas team. And it got leaked that he did some OnlyFans content. And people were worried that he was gonna do something he couldn't reverse, but eventually all of his friends reported. His family said, hey, it's okay, we don't hate you. And everybody supported him. They all said, yeah, we don't care. It was something that you did long ago. You no longer do it. You don't even promote it. And yeah, it's it's whatever. And a funny thing is that on his chat, people were spamming W femboy because on the video he was dressed effeminately. Which, it was pretty wholesome to see a bunch of like Madden fans not hating a person they like. You know, that's something that warms my heart as a bisexual person. Next up is Boogie2988 faking cancer. Basically, he said that he had a rare form of cancer on his blood that could be another disease that is not cancer, but they both act the same, basically. And basically what happened is when his doctor told him that he might have cancer, he jumped the gun and made a video saying he had cancer. And then when the diagnosis came out that he didn't have cancer, and then when he was questioned by it, he could have disproven everybody by showing their medical like rap sheet. And this was like the moment they knew they got him, because they were offering him like $20,000 just to show the diagnosis of cancer that he had. And he said he wouldn't do it because it is his own private life. He didn't want it to be on the internet, which everybody knew was BS. Boogie shares everything of his life on the internet. And it turned out like, yeah, he had fake cancer, or he jumped the gun on the diagnosis, basically. He had to tattoo the word liar on his face for saying it, which I guess it's a punishment of some kind. Next up is Cody Ko having sex with a 17-year-old Tana Mojo. It got revealed that he had sex with a 17-year-old Tana Mojo when he was well in his 20s. Like, I'm not talking 20, like mid-20s. I forgot the exact age. But there is a pretty big age gap between them. Tana revealed this casually because in her mind, you know, oh, it was just something that I did. Like, yeah, I was 17 at the time and I had sex with this person. And then people read more into that and were like, hey, this isn't okay. Like, he was way older. You were 17. You were technically a minor in Florida, which is where it happened. Like, not even age of consent. And he did this. Like what the fuck? That is messed up. And he hasn't been back on the internet, and his company, the Tiny Meat Gang, dropped him, and they're continuing the projects without his involvement. But people are saying this isn't a harsh punishment enough because he's just not in camera, but he's still receiving benefits from the company. Next up is what started the biggest drama of the year, Chris Tyson. Basically, Chris Tyson got caught being creepy around underage people. Not full-on explicit messages, just an unpleasant, pushy person. An unpleasant, gross, like, messages. Especially to minors, like, come on. And she was fired from Mr. Beast, but she said she left. And she left the internet. She hasn't been seen since there. Not even, like, paparazzi shots, which, you know, fair enough. They live in North Carolina. Well, who's gonna go out there? Chris Tyson got fired from Mr. Beast for inappropriate messages around minors. Then Dogpack exposed Mr. Beast on a very bad video that he made. Basically, he made a hit piece on Mr. Beast, and when people looked into it, some of the claims had some weight, like illegal lotteries or Mr. Beast employees faking Mr. Beast's signature on merch, which is a very shady thing to do. But other stuff, they didn't hold too much weight, like saying the contests were rigged. Like he used his girlfriend on this contest so they would have a better advantage, which wasn't the case, and everybody knew, like, it was public. Basically, a hit piece. You can see Tom Dark breaking it down. You can see a billion videos breaking this down. It was the most milk drama of the year. I'm just here for archiving purposes. Then, still on this Mr. Beast train, we have Jake the Viking's brother-in-law being Chomo. So when this whole Mr. Beast drama started, Jake the Viking was very vocal against Mr. Beast, saying stuff like, oh, Jimmy knew that Chris Tyson was this. He would always tweet, Jimmy knew. And people were siding him because, you know, he was hitting the gritty on Mr. Beast while it was popular. Then it turns out his brother-in-law was an actual registered sex offender. Not only that, it was crimes with a person. I think it was crimes with a minor, like a young minor, which was a 16-year-old girl accused his brother-in-law of sexual assault when she was 11, and he had to actually register on the sex offender registry for this crime. Now, Jake the Viking says that his brother is innocent, but of course no one believes him. And he didn't get run off the internet, but he got his credibility massively shot. Like, hey, you were clowning on Mr. Beast for knowing that Chris Tyson was doing creepy stuff around kids. Yet your own brother-in-law has an actual case of CSA, and you're saying, oh, it's not like that. It's a misunderstanding. You can see why people were mad at him. Then there's a Mr. Beast Games lawsuit, which people were complaining that they weren't getting their underwear, that security guards were creepy, that they withheld medicine, a whole bunch of production issues on the Mr. Beast games, which is out by now. You should check it out. Well, unironically, it is out. But Mr. Beast content isn't for me on YouTube. I don't think it'll be for me on Prime. Then we have Lunchly, which is the worst product launch ever, basically targeting healthier Lunchable replacements to kids, which it's whatever if you think about it, but people were like, oh, isn't Mr. Beast all about health and safety? And he partnered with like two people, one which is okay, it's KSI, and two, which is not okay, it's Logan Paul. He's the most hated person on the internet. I have no clue why anyone would partner with him. He seems like a walking PR disaster. And people were clowning on him for the partnership and, selling slop to kids. Next up is Boblex having a meltdown. Basically, there's this YouTube commentator called Boblex, which does the Twitterverse stuff, but he has since fallen off because it turns out he was copyright striking someone for criticizing him, which is, ironically enough, what got him famous when Pokimane copyright striked him for archiving her tweets. So, I guess not the same, but similar situation. And now he has fallen off, his friends turned on him, it's Joker for him. Then, next up, we got KSI's The Thick of It. Basically, KSI released a song called Thick of It that everybody clowned on, calling it trash, which, the song is pretty bad, not gonna lie. It seems like a pop star radio song. Which, it's fine. I like California Girls as much as any other person, but this is no California Girls. This is trash. Next up, we have Frogan banned on Twitch. Basically, Frogan, Denims, and some other guy, that name I forgot, got banned for a month on Twitch for anti-Semitic remarks, basically. She did a whole, she got a donation goal of a 9/11 cake, reward if they got to a certain number. Then she did a Twitch panel, officially backed Twitch panel, where she basically had where she ranked people based on if they had the Habibi pass, which is an Arab thing. I don't understand it, but people took it as Muslim good, Jewish bad, which is hilarious to me. And she got banned a month for it, her and her gaggle of friends, except Hassan Piker, because Hassan Piker can do no wrong on the eyes of Dan Clancy. Then we have Just a Robot, or The Jar, defend Groomer. Basically, he is another commentary YouTuber that defended this girl that was a certified groomer. That's why I'm saying it with confidence. And and people were clowning on him for saying it. Then it turns out that the reason he did it was because he had a crush on the girl, which is very sad, in my opinion. I feel pity for the guy. Next up, we have Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Basically, Jake Paul broke into the retirement home to beat up my grandpa, and when my grandpa kicked his ass, he went for Mike Tyson. And we all saw what happened. We all saw Mike Tyson's bare ass on cam, and Mike Tyson lost. Then Hassan Piker made the Twitch apocalypse. Basically, Twitch streamers were complaining that their revenue got cut a lot after Destiny pursued the advertisers to like look more into Twitch, and there were two major people behind this. There were two major people behind this. The first one was Hassan Piker, and the second one was Asmongold. Basically, Asmongold said that Palestinians were an inferior culture. He got since taken it back. He deeply apologizes. He says he was stupid and ignorant. Basically, the best he could do, the best YouTube apology he could do on that situation. Meanwhile, when Hassan Piker got called out for his part on the deal of, showing propaganda, showing misinformation, all this stuff, he said, oh no, they're just stupid and I'm right, which, people didn't take a liking to. And basically, Twitch streamers now have their revenues cut. I don't know if they have gone up since then. I didn't keep up with it, but I just know that Ludwig made another video talking about this situation, and all of the comments clowned him because on this video he didn't mention Hassan Piker once. Actually, I lied. He mentioned Hassan Piker, but when Hassan got mad at him again for criticizing him, because you cannot criticize Hassan, he deleted the part where he mentioned him. But he didn't even criticize him. He just mentioned that he might be tangentially related to this apocalypse. And Hassan said, no, you can't do that. You're a bad friend if you leave that in. And luckily, the whole comment section is seeing him alive. And the best comment on that comment section is legendary. It said, Ludwig could talk about the 2024 election without mentioning Donald Trump once. And now, we're almost at the end of the year. Next up, the Jake Doolittle charity. Basically, there's this YouTuber called Jake Doolittle that made a brand that would donate 10% to charity and said like, oh, I have these popular YouTuber friends that aren't buying my stuff, so I'm gonna shame them into buying my merch for charity. Which people turned at him. Then he said he had to get like knee surgery or something, and people shit on him even more. It became a huge meme, and now he apologized and the best of his ability, but still kind of grabbed some pity points. And he said that the reason they hated him was because of a bad video he made a year ago. This bad video was a hit piece on Ethan Klein, and when Ethan responded to him, like clowning on him, he tried to emotionally manipulate him. And Ethan said, like, you really think that you being in the hospital is gonna stop me from criticizing you? Which, the final drama of the year, as of recording this, is the Hawk2a scam coin. Basically, there's a Hawk2a girl with the world famous, the number one podcast ever, the Talk2a podcast. And she decided to drop a crypto coin with a bunch of people that turned out to be a rug pull. Shocker there. Could have fooled me. I thought that after the 100th influencer scan, this one wouldn't be one. I put all my life savings in it, but I got rug pulled. The graph looks like a Christmas tree. And she got clowned on. She hasn't been online since, as of the recording of this video. She posted one thing on Twitter that was like lawyers speak, but basically she left the internet. That has been all the drama of this year, as far as I can tell. Hopefully, I see you all next year. It's been a wonderful year for me. I've gotten over 500 subscribers. I can't thank all of you enough. I'm talking to more people than the average college class, which I think is cool. And hey, maybe next year this list will be empty because YouTubers won't do stupid stuff. But of course YouTubers would do stupid stuff. It's in their blood. And hey, this has been all. This has been Ren, our alias. Bye bye.